everybody? Sam Goodman, really fucking scary stories here, kicking off season 4. Season 4, holy crap. Season 4, episode 1. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for showing us all this love and support of the podcast. Thank you for all of your reviews, all your comments, all your emails. And if you would like to get in touch, if you'd like to send me an email, it is rfsspod, that's rfsspod at gmail.com. I would love to hear about your very own experiences with the paranormal, with true crime, with just really weird, fucked up things. I don't know. I think it's sort of cool. I like it. And before we go too much farther, you know how to find me. You know how to do like internet-y things. You can like find me on social media. Go check me out on Facebook, Sam Goodman. You can go follow along with the really fucking scary stories page on Facebook, all that kind of sort of stuff. But what I want to tell you to do is go over and check out my new YouTube channel. It's kind of more personal stuff. Like, you know me from the Hop Nerd podcast. You know me from the Hop Nerd YouTube channel. If you're listening to this, hopefully you know me from Really Fucking Scary Stories, the podcast. But go check out that YouTube channel. It's just under Sam Goodman. You'll see like my ugly mug there. You can subscribe, like watch the videos, do all that kind of internet-y stuff for things that you like and love and support. And I'll link it down below. So I'm not going to like keep rambling about that. Just go down below, click on it, check it out. If you like the channel, like, subscribe, share, tell your enemies, your friends, frenemies, people, tell people about it. How about that? If you really dislike it, you could just tell the people you hate about it. That would be really good too. So on today's Episode 1 of Season 4, I wanted to start with something that is really near and dear to my heart, something that comes from the region in which I grew up in, which is the Southern Appalachian Mountains. And you know I'm from there because I didn't say Appalachian. I said Appalachian because it's called Appalachian Mountains, not Appalachian. So stop calling it the Appalachian Mountains. It's the Appalachian Mountains, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. Right now, we make fun of you. You're a northerner, we make fun of you. That's what happens if you say Appalachian. No, just stop. But I want to talk about some of the superstitions from that area that I've personally witnessed. And if you've been listening to the past seasons, you know, like I'm not a very superstitious person. For somebody that's really into paranormal stuff, I don't know. Like I'm not really like a believer. And that's probably going to make like a lot of you angry for me to not be a believer in the supernatural. I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I really enjoy the stories. But I really like the superstition stuff too. So on today's episode, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of these superstitions that come out of the Appalachian Mountains. So I remember really vividly as like a high school age kid riding around with friends, and then you would see like a black cat like on the side of the road, or you would see a black cat like dash across in front of the car, and whoever was in the car was like super duper quick, like they would stop everything they were going and be like, holy fuck, black cat, and then they would reach up on the windshield and do like 3 quick X's, like the shape of an X, is tracing an X out on the windshield. And it's not just within Appalachian, it's not just within that culture that you see black cats being viewed as maybe like a sign of bad luck or sign of bad things to come, kind of this symbol of like, oh shit, something bad's about to happen. But that's what the X was thought to do. It was thought to kind of ward off the bad luck brought to you by that wicked 4-legged creature. So you do those X's really quick, and it's got to be quick. You got to do it quick before the luck gets in, or the bad luck. You got to do it quick before the bad luck gets in, and it's supposed to cancel out said bad luck. And this is stuff that's been passed down, to family members, to kids, from parents, from grandparents, to kids, and all around. It's just kind of that kind of oral lore that's been passed down, and people continue to practice it. You kind of start doing it, and I don't know if it just becomes habitual at that point, or if it's something that people truly believe in. I know some of my friends that I grew up with, like, sincerely believe that if you don't do that fucking X thing, like, bad shit is going to go down in your life. Fuck that black cat, embrace the those X's, make it happen, do it quick, don't let the bad luck get in. Another really big one that you kind of witnessed there, I know that I saw, was that as you drive past a cemetery, as you drive past like a grave sites, if you're walking through a cemetery, walking past a cemetery, folks hold their breath. Yeah, like they go and they hold their breath. And the whole purpose of this, especially around a fresh grave, the whole purpose of this is to avoid inhaling the soul of someone who had, recently passed away and had been interred at the cemetery. So you hold your breath when you go past, the grave sites, when you go past, especially fresh graves, so you don't inhale that person's soul. I don't know, and I haven't looked this up, so maybe somebody can send me an email and let me know. But I would assume that kind of belief, that superstition comes along with some of maybe that funerary, is that how you say it? It's funerary kind of stuff where, those old practices of like covering up mirrors, making sure that you carry a body, it's foot first, right? Foot first out of a house so they don't look back. They won't find their way back, but covering up the mirrors so their soul doesn't get trapped. So you're assuming, I'm just thinking out loud here, if we're assuming that the soul is kind of like floating out of the body, you don't want to inhale it. You don't want to let it get trapped in a mirror, and you don't want to put it in a position where it can look back on its house and like wander back up on you, while you're just like hanging out having dinner. That would be kind of awkward. Dead grandpa, hey guys, I'm back. That'd be super weird. A couple that I found through research that I thought were pretty interesting too, because I have not seen this one. I need to spend time chatting with my relatives back in Appalachia to see if they've heard of any of these. Maybe I'll do that and I'll circle back and let you know what I find out. But I thought this one was interesting. Of people would gather acorns during a thunderstorm and they would place them on the windowsills to protect their homes from lightning strikes. Who knows how well that works? Another one of those with folks that were around apple trees, if you had an apple tree in your yard or if you had an orchard of some kind, is that when you were doing your harvest, you would leave a single apple hanging at the end of the harvest to make sure that you don't attract the devil. Of course, right? You take the devil's apple, you're fucked, right? Just saying. Another one is that if you're out before sunrise, you make damn sure that you avoid rabbits, because for some reason, if you encountered a rabbit before sunrise, it was a pretty big belief that unhappiness would hang over that entire day. If you saw an owl out during the day or peering into a window in particular, it's known as a foreboding omen, kind of leading you to believe that someone in that house is going to die an untimely death. So, and that kind of goes back. I've heard that. I've seen that back home with birds too, and I've experienced that with other cultures too, with just birds in general. That if you're just like chilling and you get one of those like bonk, like one of those things where the bird like smacks a window, they're like, oh fuck, somebody's gonna die, right? Somebody here is gonna die. So that's probably, I'm sure those are connected some way or another. I don't know about you, but if I'm like looking out the window, if I'm just like chilling on the couch watching some TV and I'm just like turn and look and there's a big ass motherfucking owl staring at me, that's gonna creep me out enough. It's just gonna startle me, and then I'll be like, oh cool, look, it's an owl. Another one of kind of leading to death, kind of revolving around death, is that if you hear a church bell ringing, if that church is unattended and you hear the ringing of a church bell, that's forewarning that someone in the parish will die. The presence of a bat in a home means its occupants will have no choice but to leave soon, let alone one of them will die. So a lot of die. There's a lot of die as it relates to these superstitions. Big bucket of death. You want to avoid these. That's for sure. So whether you're jumping over a crack so as not to break one's mother's back, holding one's breath while driving over the train tracks, or pouring out a drink for spirits past, these superstitions really turn into like little individual rituals, and they're kind of cool because they have this like bit of mystery and disbelief, kind of goes along with them, or maybe belief, maybe it's belief, like belief in those things, or even if they've just become habitual, it's just like a thing, it's like a part of the culture, and it opens up our imaginations, and it's just cool. It's just something from our past. To me, I think it's neat just because it's part of that Appalachian lore, kind of oral history from storytellers that's been passed down, and you still see that manifesting to this day in those areas. So whether you believe it or not, it's still pretty fucking cool, right? It's just cool. And honorable mention, I gotta throw this in here just because I thought it was cool. Again, this is not one that I have seen or heard. I'm gonna have to dig into having some conversations with some of the more older folks in my family to see if they've experienced these. But you do not leave washed diapers on a clothesline overnight because, boom, you guessed it, it attracts the devil. Yep, that's it. It attracts evil forces. But I think what's amazing, and this is what I really love about the Appalachian region of the world, this is what I really love about where I grew up, is it was always there were so many different types of people and culture that poured into those mountains and carved out this kind of hard scrabble life out of freaking mountains, isolated in the mountains, turned it into a home. So you get all these kind of different cultures and beliefs that mixed together that kind of turn into, this is a byproduct of that, right? This is something that we're talking about, and it's still ingrained, it's still entrenched there, because even nowadays, though not as much, those mountains are still pretty isolated, and they were even more isolated back then, which allowed those beliefs to just kind of stay. And I don't know, I think it's cool. I think it's a huge, interesting, amazing part of Appalachian culture and history, and I think it's neat to see those traditions still alive and going on, and to hear people still passing this stuff down. Whether you believe it or not, it's still pretty cool, and if you believe it, it's still pretty fucking scary. Have you had a really fucking scary experience? Have you seen a ghost? Have you been on a macabre adventure? Would you like to share it on air? Would you like for us to tell that story? Or you just have something horrid that you would like for us to talk about? Send us an email at rfsspod, that's rfsspod at gmail.com. Make sure that you subscribe. New episodes come out every single Friday. We look forward to continuing this creepy, crawly, morbid, macabre, and grotesque adventure with you, the listener. We love you, and we will see you soon. Thank you for joining us today on our trip into the dark. We hope that you join us again next week for all things horror, all things macabre, all things grotesque, here on Really Fucking Scary Stories.